Three things. If you have a cell phone, you know what to do, right? One is don't use it, and the other is put it in vibrate or something. Distractions. Number two, something that Shyamasundar shared with us yesterday, I want to say it a little differently because I heard from him something a little differently. First, it's in relation to Tamal Krishna Maharaj. In case you didn't know, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, being superlative in everything that he did, he had accepted a task or a service to Prabhupada of writing an explanation of Sri Brahma Samhita that was comprehensive and intelligible. And he gave that seminar twice. Once was in Mayapur, and once was in Vrindavan, and I attended both. And I have the recordings of both. And when it came time for questions, I was always the first one up with my hand up. And it became like a joke or some kind of funny. And what I heard from Shandasundar Prabhu is that Tamal Krishna Maharaj said something to Shyamsundar Prabhu about me, that whenever I think of Romapada Swami, I think of him sitting there with a book in his hand. Now, I certainly did other things. I didn't do as much of that as I would like, but just a little sharing on the Tamal Krishna Maharaj topic. Now, he wanted to say something. Do you have a portable microphone? He wanted to say something that's in relation to our male pujaris and things like that. Something that he heard from Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Here, you can take this one.
Yes, Maharaj. So I have seen that some of the pujaris,
A little further away. Yeah.
that they are wearing the chadar and they are putting the knot on the back. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj doesn't like it. He will chastise if somebody put the knot like this. The real way of put the chadar, bring it over here, and the next part you cover it over on the other side of the shoulder. And he was very, very particular about it. If he see anyone, he will get heavy on them. So last time also I was here, I made the recommendations. I talked to Pujari and I saw that while we were in the Japariti, they were not wearing with the knot, they changed it. But again I see it, and particularly when I saw the new initiate wearing the knot on the back, I really felt that I should share that we should not wear like that.
Confirmed. He's been trained. And part of the training was not just say something, but get the sauce when saying the something. And there must have been a reason besides he didn't like it. There must have been a reason. Whatever that reason is, what are you doing? Just sit down. And I wanted to say one other thing before class begins this morning. And that one other thing is a repeat of something that I said yesterday, but I'll take it a little stronger. And something that Prabhupada encouraged, I didn't require it, but he encouraged it, is he wanted the devotees to write, because Bhaktisiddhanta had wanted, and he wanted. And Prabhupada he expressed on a number of occasions, it was like one of these slogans of the Hare Krishna movement, that Back to Godhead magazine he saw as the backbone. You don't break the backbone, you strengthen the backbone. So I'd like to encourage the devotees here. You don't have to do it, but I encourage you to consider writing an article for Back to Godhead magazine. And if it doesn't get published, no problem. And I was thinking to share this with Premananda. Where's Premananda? There's Premananda. Our members, we had this little gathering last weekend. It would be nice, not a requirement, but it'd be nice if they could be given, among the gifts you give them, a gift subscription, an annual subscription to Back to Godhead magazine. And if they don't want it, they could be asked, if you don't want it, give it to somebody, tell us to somebody, we'll send it to that somebody you want to give as a gift or something like that. For some reason or another, I think it's a personality and a lack of vision for marketing. Distributing Prabhupada's book gets a lot of attention, but Back to Godhead magazine doesn't get so much attention. I don't hear so much about it. And that's not nice. I mean, Prabhupada started it, and there was a lapse because of this and that, travel, and then he wanted to revive it. And so he did. And it's been maintained since that time. So in the mood of furthering the legacy of our founder Acharya, consider. And when you meet people that you're cultivating in Krishna consciousness, consider encouraging them to subscribe or make a gift subscription. I don't know what the cost is, I have no idea. But I'm sure it's not overwhelming. And so, it's a nice backbone of the Hare Krishna movement legacy. So I'm done with that one. So now comes the morning class. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Of course, Vasudeva means Krishna, and Vasudevaya means unto Krishna. Om Namo Namaha means offering my body, mind, and word, offering myself. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So there's Vasudeva on the screen, the father of Vasudeva, and it's an illustration from the Srimad Bhagavatam to indicate an event, a very large section actually of Srimad Bhagavatam, beginning chapter of Canto 11. And somehow Canto 11 comes after Canto 10. And Canto 10 is all about Krishna. And Canto 11 is about Narada is in Dwarka because he wants Krishna's association. He has this Veena, he has this curse of Daksha to never stay in one place too long, but he stayed in Dwarka for some time for Krishna's association. Somehow the curse didn't force him to leave. And Vasudeva invited him to his palace. Narada came. He honored Narada the way that a Kshatriya should honor a Brahmana. And after honoring him, he presented some questions. And his questions go like this. In the past, I raised questions to you about the duties of a Kshatriya and what is the dharma of a Kshatriya. And you explained that thoroughly, fully, so thank you. But I neglected raising questions to you about liberation, because duties have a destination. If you do them, it's not just fruits of piety, but it's pleasing the Supreme Lord. So could you please describe? And then Narada launches into a multiple chapter section where he describes the process of liberation. And he decides, first he does many things, and then to elaborate, does many things about devotional service as the means to achieve ultimate liberation. He then says, the best way to describe this to you is to give you this history. And then he begins narrating the history of Swayambhuva Manu. Swayambhuva Manu is the first of the 14 Manus. And it's not the present Manu, but it's 14 or 7 Manus ago. A son of Swayambhuva Manu was Priyavrata. And Priyavrata had a son whose name was Agnidra, whose son was Nabhi. So we're, long ago in Satya Yuga. And Nabhi's son was an incarnation of Vasudev, whose name was Rishabdev. And Rishabdev had 100 sons. Specifically in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, it describes that the special feature of Rishabdev is that he taught the path of renunciation. Now, how can you teach the path of renunciation when you have 100 sons? But it wasn't indulgence, it was, there were purposes. And according to the Srimad Bhagavatam, each of his sons were eminently qualified. Then it's proper utilization of the capacity of male and female to produce children, is because bringing into the world elevated Vaishnavas. So all of their 100 sons, all of his 100 sons, 100 sons. Hey, parents. There's these 2 boys that are twins, and I would keep thinking, what a handful. Kunti had 5. He has 100. Gosh. But he was an incarnation, so he had the capacity to guide them. And a number of them became kings, and a number of them became brahmanas, which is an important consideration. This is Satya Yuga, during the age of Swayambhuva Manu, and some sons are this and some sons are that. They weren't all Kshatriyas because he was in the capacity of a king or ruler with 100 sons. And you can see he's got a big palace. And there's the section that's being referred to by Narada to Narada to Vasudeva, is his instructions. And then further on, there's a scene where of the 100 sons, 9 of them became like Narada, meaning beyond the Varnashram status. They were rishis, but not just Brahmana rishis, they were beyond their Uttama status. In fact, Narada traveled with a veena, but they traveled without a veena. They had cities. They could go wherever they wanted, and they did. And what was the purpose of going where they wanted? It was to give instructions to people who had the capacity to receive instructions. They were selective. And on one occasion, Narada discusses with Vasudeva, 11th canto, chapters 2 and 3, where these Navayogendras in this painting, they just descended from the sky on a scene where King Nimi, there's a descendancy, but without all of that, he was performing a yajna for the benefit of his citizens, not for his benefit, but for the benefit of his citizens. And you see the brahmanas over there on the left, and the ministers over there on the right, and the big throne of King Nimi, who was a very powerful person, very qualified person. And when the Navayogendras descended, there's some devotees in the room that are using their cell phone. Could you put your cell phone away if you're using your cell phone? Thank you very much. It's distracting. So King Nimi stopped the yajna. The brahmana stopped the yajna. There's the fire, it was going, but he stopped. And he offered his obeisances to the Navayogendras. And they're still floating in the air like this. But he then took the opportunity, what good fortune, even greater than this yajna purpose and performance, is you have come, and I'm feeling very indebted to your merciful appearance in this yajna. May I ask you some questions? And he asks a number of questions. And different of the Navayogendras respond, but King Nimi in chapter 3 of Canto 11 says, "O great sage," because they answer different questions. "O great sage, please," because he's got 9 of them, but he just singular. "O great sage, please explain how even a foolish materialist can easily cross over the ocean, over the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord, which is always insurmountable for those who are not self-controlled." So it's a prerequisite to be self-controlled. But supposing you're not self-controlled, then how can you cross over the ocean of the illusory energy? Seems impossible. And so he says a few things, how to become self-controlled, but then comes this verse, which is the topic for this morning's event, the initiation. Let's say the verse together. You see it on the screen. Tasmat gurum prapadyeta jigyasu shreya uttamam shabde pareja nishnatam brahmani upashamashayam. So the solution he provides is taking shelter of a guru. Tasmat, therefore, gurum, unto the guru, prapadyeta, take shelter, surrender to such a person. And as Nimi is doing with the sages, jigyasu, inquiring, shreya uttama. When Prabhupada would speak about this verse, one of the things he would commonly say was, there's Shreya and Preya. There's one girl seated in the audience who had the name Shreya. So Shreya means ultimate benefit. Preya means short-term benefit. You know these terms, but it's okay to say them again and again. Like a child, they like to play. And the parents may say, sometime for play, that's okay, but you have to do your studies. I want to play. But there's short term, that's the playing, and there's the long term, that's the Shreya. And then there's Shreya Uttama. The reasoning behind why the Shreya. Then long term, ultimate Uttama, Shreya Uttama. Inquire into the ultimate benefit of the living entity. That's what one should do. Supposing you don't have self-control, inquire into what? And then comes the quality of the inquirer and the quality of the one who is inquired from. So the quality of the one who is inquired from, shabde pare, hearing, shabde pare, about transcendence, para. In the vocative, it's pare. Hearing about the transcendental. Cha nishnatam. So, with having faith, brahmani upashamashayam, having taken shelter of Brahman. Upa samashayam. Upa samashayam. This is qualification of the person unto whom one should take shelter. Now, my experience of hearing recorded lectures, I like to hear recorded lectures of Prabhupada. And when initiation lectures are given, I've not heard a recording of an initiation lecture where he doesn't refer to this verse and explain it like I'm attempting to do, in simple terms. How to cross over the ocean of illusory energy if you're not self-controlled. What's the best means? Tasmat Guru Prapadyeta Jigyaso Shreya Uttama, and the qualification of the one who can give that, Shabde Parate Cha Nishnatam Brahmani Upashamashrayam. And it's in the purport of this verse from the Bhagavatam, but another verse that Prabhupada would invariably speak about, I'm also going to speak about, in relation to taking shelter or the process of initiation. Tad Vijnanartam Sagarum Eva Bigachet Tamatpani Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. Tad Vijnanartam. That person, Tad Vijnanartam, that person that wants to know, is similar to the Jigyasu Shreya Uttama. That person that wants to know should take shelter. Sagarum Eva Abhigachet. Abhigachet, I'm not a Sanskrit scholar, but I heard Prabhupada say this at least 50, maybe 100 times. It's the force of this word is it's not optional, or conversely, it's imperative. Abhigachet carries that connotation. It's a must. What's the must? Take shelter of a spiritual master. So it's from the Upanishad, so it's very terse and tight and succinct. But the message is there. Such a person must take shelter of a spiritual master. And the qualification of the person wishing to take shelter, it's just in these two words, samitpani. Samitpani. Like Krishna and Sudama Brahman, Samitpani. They were sent by their guru to go to the forest to gather wood and gather ingredients for yajna. So it literally means carrying firewood in one's hand. Samitpani. Samitpani. Submissive service. Humble. Sudama is a Brahmin, Krishna is Krishna, and a Kshatriya, and he's going to school, and he's given some humble service. Yesterday evening's topic was about pride. It's a nice lesson. Humble service, humble menial service is a good cleanser for pride. And get a little story. Many of you have heard this 100 times. Here we go. When I became inspired to assist, out of gratitude, to assist Srila Prabhupada in doing what he came to the West to do, to give Krishna consciousness to the world, to certainly people in America, but to the world was his vision from the get-go. From the get-go. The world was his audience, and his purpose was to deliver Krishna, because the world was without Krishna and therefore suffering, not even knowing why they were suffering, and sometimes not even know that they're suffering, although they're suffering. The pangs of birth, death, disease, old age, minimal. What to speak of mind and other things. So he wanted. And I wanted to help. And I, just like we told this story yesterday, the Aesop's Fable story, I understood, I'm a little guy. What can I do? But bundled together, little sticks can do a lot. So Prabhupada created temples so that we could do something substantial. So let me assist by, at least for a while, living in a temple, and assist my spiritual master to give to others what he had, at great risk and difficulty, had given to myself and many others. So I decided to join a Hare Krishna temple. And the Hare Krishna temple that I decided to join was Boston. And the reason Boston is, when I was in undergraduate school, I had gone to Boston to look into graduate schools, because there's a lot of graduate schools in Boston. And when I went there, skipping some nice details, I was really moved by the association there for many reasons, but one of the big reasons was, at that time, there wasn't a BBT. It was ISKCON Press, under one umbrella of the ISKCON entity. And so in this single-family residential building, the place was packed with devotees that were the Sankirtan and cooks and the other temple devotees, and the press devotees. And the press devotees were really superlative devotees in knowledge and qualities and the kirtans and everything. So it was Boston. I had a little Volkswagen Bug, one of those. So I drove all the way from the university where I attended nonstop early in the morning on a Sunday, because I wanted to attend the Sunday feast. And when I got to the temple, it was kind of late, and I didn't even have a feast yet. They said, "Oh, welcome. We have some service for you. Let me show you the pot room." And I was like, wait a minute, I haven't even had prasadam yet. And you want me to go to the pot room? So, but I didn't say that. But I was. And then the next morning, I got a pat on the back. "Oh, you did such a nice job." They didn't say, "Did you get prasadam after you washed the pots?" "You did such a nice job. We would like you to take this as your service." And, emotionally, I grabbed my head saying, "What? Pride, don't you know who I am? I mean, I'm a pre-med guy, and, and you want me to go wash pots?" But I didn't say it. I just, that was what was going on inside. Because there was pride, and I didn't want to embarrass myself, so I didn't say it. But it was there. And where the pot sink was right at the bottom of the stairs, for the ashram. So when the devotees would go every day after the morning program and prasadam, they'd go out that door that was right by where the pot sink was, and would go out in Sankirtan, chanting and having a good time, having a party. I didn't say anything, but I was like, why do I have to do this instead of do that? Because that's what I want to do, and I don't want to do this. I'm proud. And then somebody came along, put their arm around me or patted me on the back and said, "Oh, you're doing this so nicely. Prabhupada said that when you wash the pots, you're cleansing your heart." Which is true. But I didn't understand it. I just didn't say it either. I said, "Oh, if that's true, why don't you stand next to me and help me?" A smart aleck. Proud, intellectual little guy, thinking, Some time passed. And then another devotee said, "Prabhupada said you should wash the pots so nicely, you can see your reflection in the bottom of the pot. So by that time, I was a little more surrendered. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to make that my pot washing mission. I'm going to make the pots so clean. And in those days, we didn't have money, so we bought used pots. And I was thinking the pot bottom, which is black, caked on black from being used, make that part where you can see your reflection of your face. So that was my mission. And with a surrendered heart, with pride that had been somewhat diminished at least, that was my project. And they really liked it. And I wasn't thinking, I better not do it so nicely because they'll just keep me in this service forever. But one day someone tapped me on the shoulder and said, guess what? We have another pot washer. You can come out on the Sankirtan party. You know, it was hip, hip, hooray. Haribo. But there was an important lesson. Samadpani was the lesson. Humble service. And that has helped me throughout my Krishna conscious life. Hint. Being given some service is a good fortune, and if it's a humbling service, even more so. I'm sure we all can have our own little stories. That's one of mine. There's others. But Samadpani, and unto whom does that prapadyeta, or surrender, go? Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. Shrotriyam, Brahmanishtam, fixed in Brahman from the process of hearing. And some of you, probably all of you by now, have received that little essay that I wrote purposely to describe about initiation. There are some teachings, both first and second initiation. I spent a fair amount of time working on that document. I wanted it to be guiding, at least persons that want to become qualified Vaishnavas, and Brahmanas, qualified Brahmanas. What does it mean? What does it work, etc.? So this is another verse that's from that little document. Divyam Jnanam Yato Dadyat Kuryat Papasya Sangshaya, from the Sandarbhas. Jiva Goswami. Tasmat Diksheti Sa Prokta. So those who Deshikais Tatvakovidai. Deshika means learned persons. Learned persons say Sa Prokta. This is the truth about what Diksha is. It's a definition of what Diksha is. That's the second line. Tasmat Diksheti Sa Prokta. Deshikais Tatvakovidai. And so what is it? Diksha, definition of Diksha, Divyam Jnanam. Divyam Jnanam. You find it explained in that little article. How does Divyam Jnanam take place? Who gives it? Well, there's an instrument and there's a person wielding the instrument. The guru is the instrument, and if the instrument is sharp, it's going to be better. If the instrument is not so sharp, it's not going to be so good. But the principle is, the guru is the instrument of whom? Of the deliverer of transcendental knowledge, Divyam Jnanam. And Diksha is when Divyam Jnanam is imparted. It doesn't mean if you don't take Diksha, you can't have Divyam Jnanam. But it's consummated, or it's made, at least the potential, the potency is there in its fullness by that process of submission unto Guru, which means submission unto Krishna, and acceptance by Krishna of the disciple. And thus the person is given a Krishna name, or a name by which that disciple can further their remembrance of Krishna. Divyam Jnanam Yato Dadyat Kuryat papasya. So sins are eradicated. It's not that sins are not going to be eradicated, or reactions of sins, prarabdha karma, will not be eradicated by anything else. There's many other else's. But it's specific to the process of submission and acceptance unto Krishna. Again, that can take place without diksha, but it's recognized in a formal way. Krishna is accepting you. Guru is accepting you means Krishna is accepting you. That should be understood. Here's the translation. Diksha is the process by which one can awaken his transcendental knowledge and vanquish all reactions caused by sinful activity. A person expert in the study of the revealed scriptures, that's the Deshika person, knows this process as Diksha. So there's Jiva Goswami defining in very nice terms what the process of Diksha is, which we're about to commence. And that's a very fortunate person. Now, it's Krishna's mercy distributed through the representatives of Krishna, but one is a recipient of special mercy by this Diksha process, submission and acceptance by Krishna through the agency of the Guru. Krishna discusses this with Uddhava in a later section of the 11th canto. And here's a verse that's a well-known verse, and this is our last slide for this morning. Acharya mam vijaniyan navamanyeta karhachit na marcha buddhya suyeta sarva devamayo guru. Nice verse. One should know the Acharya to be my self and never disrespect him in any way. Similar to our Guruvastaka prayers. Similar. The root of the Guruvastaka prayers is Bhagavatam. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is simplifying or drawing into simple language what's in the Bhagavatam. This is Krishna's words. Myself would never be disrespected. There's the plus and the minus. We should not envy him, thinking him an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all the demigods. Representative of all the demigods means the representative of Krishna, Devamaya. So, this morning, shortly, where I'm going to get up from here and go over there, and we're going to conduct an initiation ceremony. And Namaruchi, how are you doing with jet lag? How are you doing with jet lag? You okay? He just got back from India yesterday, day before yesterday, something like that. And here he is, sitting up, bright and alert, with his chadar draped over his shoulder and not tied behind his back of his neck. Somehow he got it right, even without getting the sauce. So let us turn our attention to over here. And there are 5 initiates, and some of them are local and some of them are far away. That's okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Suktayar eva nigama pratataishtavanti Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasapati Bhavi Tabis Tabirya eva nijarupataya kalabihi Goloka eva nivisatya kilatma bhoto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vinochanena Santaksadaiva Hridayesha Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achincha Gunasarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ramadi Murtushakalani Amena Tishtan Nanavatar Makarod Bhuvaneshu Kinto Krishnak Swayam Samabhavak Paramak Pumanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti Koti Svashesha Vasudadi Vibhoti Binnam Tad Brahma Nishkalamanantam Ashesha Bhotam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Maya Hiyasya Jagadanda Shatani Sute Traikunya Tadvishaya Veda Bhataya Mana Sattva-valambi pada-sattvam vishuddha-sattvam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasamataya Manaksu Yat Praninam Paniparam Smarutam Upetya Leelayatenu Bhuvanani Jagatya Jasram Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Holo Kanamni Nijadamni Tane Chatasya Devi Mahesha Haridama Suteshu Teshu Te Te Prabhava Nichaya Vihiyastiyena Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Shristi Sati Palaya Sadhana Shaktireka Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Vibharati Durga Ichchanarupam Apiyasya Tatesta Tesa Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Kshiram Yatadati Vikara Vishesha Yogat Sanjaya Heta Pratigasti Hetoho Yaksham Bhutam Apitata Samupaiti Karyad Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Departure Eva Hidasham Tanam Abhyupetya Dipayatena Hetu Samana Dharma Yastadrak Eva Hista Vishnu Taya Vibhati Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yatkara Narna Bhajale Bhajatisma Yoga Nidramananta Jagadanda Saroma Kopaha Adara Shaktim Avalamya Param Smurtim Govindamadi Purusham Yasyaika Nishvachita Kanamatavalambhya Jivanti Loma Vinaja Jagadandanataha Vishnur Mahansi Yasya Kalabhishesho Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Vaspanya Tanksma Sakalesha Najesha Tejaha Sviyam Kayat Prakariyat Tadvitad Vadatra Brahmaya Esha Jagadanda Vidhana Karta Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yatpala Pallava Yugam Vinadaya Kumbha Dvandve Pranama Samane Saganadi Rajaha Vinghan Vahantam Anabhachya Jagatra Yasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Agnir Mahi Ambambarudashascha Kalas Tatatma Manasita Jagatrayani Yasmad Bhavanti Vibhavanti Vishanti Yangcha Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yachakshya Esa Savita Sakala Rahanam Raja Samasta Suramurti Rashesha Tejam Yasyagya Yabramiti Skambrita Kala Chakro Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Dharmo Tapapa Nichaya Shrutayasta Pansi Brahma Dakita Katagava Dayasta Jivaha Yadatra Prakata Prabhava Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yastvindra Gopa Matavindra Mahosva Karma Bandhana rupa padabhajanam atanoti. Karmani nirdahita kintu cha bhakti bhajam. Govindavadi purusham tamaham bhajam. Yam krodha kamasa japranayadhiti. Vatsalya moha gura gaurava sevya bhavai. Sanchintya tasha sadashim tanam aparete. Govindavadi purusham tamaham. Shri Akanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kalpa Taravo Drama Bhumi Chintamanigan Tam Tam Kata Gatnam Natyam Ganabam Api Bangshi Priyasaki Shid Anandam Jyoti Param Apitat Asvajam Apicha Satyak Prachiradhi Shrabati Sarabi Vyasya Sumahan Nimeshad Yakyo Vavrajati Nahi Yatrapi Samaya Jai Shveta Dvipam Tamaham Iha Lokam Itiyam Vedanta Steshati Charak Ishara Parama Krishna Sachit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karanam. Vows? Ajita and your good wife. Let's come forward. Go to Prabhupada's Vyasa San. This is the name giving and the formal vows. All five of you, why don't you go to make it more quick. Ajit, come forward first and with your wife. Obeisances. Now, where's Premananda? You going to say something? What? Vangsidhari is going to say something. One of the things that I like to do with initiations is have somebody speak something about the devotee. So, Divija, you're going to have to figure out who's going to speak on your behalf. Your mom or something? Huh? Nanda Sutta. Oh, okay, great. So, Vangsidhari, take it away.
Hi Krishna Maharaj. So Ajit Prabhu and Rachna Mataji family, really a sweet family. We really get inspired. Actually, they're very cultured and respectful. When they moved from Minneapolis, they had little touch with Krishna consciousness before. When they moved here, they met Prem Tarangini Mataji and Sachikumar Prabhu. That's how their association started. And they took a lot of association, attending Bhakti Ruksha and so on. But in between, it was a sudden surprise because of some visa issues. They had to move to India. A lot of adjustment took place. But actually, it's really like by Guru Maharaj's mercy only they came back again, actually. It was very magical again how they came back. After they came back, their sadhana practices are very fixed up. They're both like chanting early in the morning. They have been taking help from Shamsundar Prabhuji's sessions. And another feature is that Gopal Hari Prabhu has been really like, working hard, encouraging us to come for Mangalarati.
Not 2:00 in the morning, though.
So they were one of the families very regular. despite of weather or any other situations. And they were also pretty active in Shastra study. They have been doing Bhakti Shastri, reading Bhagavatam and so on. And in addition to study, they're also active in book distribution and supporting other services in the temple.
That's good enough. You feel embarrassed? Don't let it go to your head, right? Yeah. The answer is all the credit goes to those who have helped me come from where I was to where I am today. All credit goes to them. That's the answer. Don't, otherwise you cringe and you're very serious. You always have this very serious look on your face. Which is nice, but inside there's this soft Prabhu. And Vangsidhari has come to know, Gopal Hari has come to know, I'm sure Premananda has also come to know the softness that's inside. Okay, so now vows and your name. So the 3 vows. How many rounds you'll chant on your beads daily for the rest of your life? And the rules that you'll follow?
No gambling, no intoxication.
No problem. And you'll make your best effort, as you've been doing for so long, to continue following Prabhupada's instructions. Yes? Yes, good. Now, I've understood from Vangsidhari that you have special affection for Hanuman. True? So we're going to give you a name that is in relation to Hanuman. Who is Hanuman's mother? Anjaneya Das. Just like Arjun's mother was Kunti, so he is called Konteya. Anjaneya Das, servant of Hanuman. He's smiling. Same, vows? Yeah. And the 4 rules? Okay. And like your good husband, you'll continue to follow Prabhupada's teachings for the rest of your life. A very important vow. Okay. Initiated name is Ratna Vilasani Devidasi. The meaning of your name is an enjoyer of loving pastimes between Radha and Krishna. You get the spelling of your name and so forth at the end. Raj? Going to speak about... Okay. Can't hear you.
Hare Krishna, Guru
Now we
Maharaj.
can hear you.
Yeah. So, Raj, Dr. Brahmajit Raghav, or Raj, as we all lovingly know him, he has been with the congregation for 15 plus years now. Yeah. So he is such a nice person, always with a smile, gentle, soft. Then he renders multiple services at the temple, be it cooking, cleaning, crowd management, always so sharp with a big smile and never fails to do it. He has attended Bhakti Vriksha with Balram Prabhu for a number of years, and his sadhana is constant and very steady. So thank you, Maharaj.
I also just wanted to say that both Raj and his wife are very strong in their sadhana, and I deeply appreciate Raj's presence in this temple for 15 years, dedicated service, and thank you so much.
years. You get some special Krishna points for that. Okay, I'm fine with me. Speak up. You don't need a microphone. Bring the microphone, but smart. Yeah, just speak. He's loud.
Actually, professionally, has a high-profile job, and just want to mention that's very humble. But actually, in last year, he has been appointed as the National Vice President of World Human Rights Commission, which is only 4 in the world. He is one of them, representing the United States of America. And such a anything happens in the W. Always in the back. Just want to mention that.
He's embarrassed. But no, it sticks because it all goes to those persons who bestowed the capacity to do those things. Now he's happier again. Okay, your vows. So how many rounds you'll chant on your beads daily? And the 4 rules that you'll follow? That's 2. You're nervous. Some devotee was taking their vows, and they got so nervous they got stuck like he's stuck. And Prabhupada went, aha, that's the one you're attached to. No intoxication, that's number 4. And like the others, you'll continue as you've been doing for 15 years, following Prabhupada's instructions carefully. Good. Initiated name, Rasakrita Das. The literal meaning of Rasakrita is Rasalila. It's another name of Rasalila. Rasalila, Rasakrita. You'll find it in many places in our writings of acharyas. They like that phrase. And who's going to speak something of Mataji here? Who?
Vasanta Mataji joined our Bhagavatam reading group about 4 years ago. And even at her advanced age, she was so sincere. I mean, she's the one who is always in the, she's always in the class, whether the rest of us join or not. And she used to prepare diligently prior to the class so that she would be, she would make sure she understands the text and can contribute. About a year and a half ago, when she took shelter and she decided to take shelter of you, she's been so happy about it. She's been chanting 16 rounds. Right now she's chanting 32 rounds actually already every day. Yeah. And of course, when she took shelter of you, she was like, I'm over 70 and I really want to dedicate my life. She didn't realize that she has to go through much more. There's the disciples course and all that. And she was like, oh, really? But she did all that so sincerely. I mean, she's really, really dedicated. Such a pleasure to be, associated with her.
Do you have language difficulty?
A little bit. No, she speaks English, but then, a little bit, yeah.
Go ahead, speak loud.
Sincere devotee and very serious in her spiritual practice, her commitment to sadhana, very commendable. I also want to mention that her son, where is Krishna Podila? Can you please stand up? Yeah, he's a future initiation candidate, but the most important thing is this relationship between him and his mother. No matter what, rain or shine, Krishna Podila will bring Mataji to the temple. And while he himself is like he's a hero, unsung hero in the sense that all menial jobs in this temple, which requires so much of physical strength and energy, he does it in a dedicated way. And they are inspiring each other, the mother and the son. And I have the deepest appreciation for both of them. And I wish all the best to Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
What's going on? Should I continue? Okay. Just this morning, I was listening to a conversation in Melbourne, Australia, 1975. Prabhupada was speaking with someone representative of the government, and the man commented that most of your disciples are very young. And then Prabhupada remarked, for young people, it's easy to make transition. For older people, it's more difficult. So you get extra Krishna points too. Okay, you can speak the vows in English, no problem? Okay, good. So how many rounds you'll chant on your beads besides 32? Don't make that, just say the minimum 16. Minimum 16, okay. More is okay. But you take your vow that vows are meant to be kept, so minimum 16. And the 4 rules that you'll follow, no problem, right? No this, no that. Intoxication. Same one he got stuck on. And as you've been doing, you continue to follow Prabhupada's teachings nicely. Very good. Initiated name, Vraja Kumari Devi Dasi. Kumari means little girl. So Nanda Sutta, you're going to speak something?
Hare Krishna. So Divija is 18 now, and when she was 8 years old, that's the first time I saw her in Seattle. Both the parents, Sharda Mataji and Bala Prabhu, and Avanija, the younger sister, they all started to attend Bhakti Shastri course I was teaching. And,
At 8 years old?
they just accompanied them because they didn't want to leave them alone at home. So she would pick up a book from my home library. We have a big room with many hundreds of books. So she will pick up a lot of books, and my wife would encourage her, and she was a very good student in a Sunday school. And later, Sharda Mataji picked up teaching service in her school. So long story short, 2015 or 16 or something like that, she started to grow, and I would watch. She's a good student, of course. And she would not be like other kids who just run around and make noise and mess everywhere, correct? she'll pick up.
Like your kids, right?
No, my kids. So little boys, sorry, they would come and they'll make a mess, but she'll always stay back and clean up actually, and that I appreciated it. And she always had a fondness of reading and listening stories about Krishna and Bhagavatam and all. But see, the world went in 2020 when the COVID hit, when everybody was in a difficulty, and this family, credit to them, decided that they all will wake up early, chant their rounds, and cook prasadam only once a day, and then spend time, of course they were working and school and all that, but read Bhagavatam. So those 2-3 years, this girl transformed completely. And that was a great effort for the parents actually, I can say. Of course, I'll take also a little credit by family, because it says a child is raised by the village, not by just the parent, correct? So, anyway, then she wanted to pursue the higher education, and then parents decided wisely to move to Texas, away from Seattle. And she's now studying in TAMU, Texas A&M University, in undergrad freshman, doing neuroscience, and wants to pursue medical college or medical field education. So I wish her very well. I've seen her from her childhood, and she amazes me. And, the parents, kudos to them, of course, again. They always take her to Maharaj's yatra and engage her in all sort of activities. And then if we do that, sometimes, we don't realize but how transformation happens. This Divija, 10 years ago, nobody would have thought that this day we would see today. At least I never envisioned. So thank you, congratulations, and best of luck. And may I keep praying and then wish you all the best for the advancement in Krishna consciousness. Thank you. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, with your permission,
Short.
with your permission, I would also like to.
Short, please.
So I've known their family for almost more than a decade now, from Seattle, just like their parents, like Bala Prabhu and Sharda Mataji. Divija is also very enthusiastic. She used to participate in a lot of spiritual activities in Seattle back. I know when Sharda Mataji was organizing all the plays, I still remember she was playing the role of Rama, and she likes to play dramas. And then she's very, very, very down to earth, very humble. When you see her, she's in the mood of goodness, always. Very respectful to elders, and very helpful, very cooperative. And in the Dallas temple, I think she helps in various festivals. And in festivals, she helps in gopi darts making, and then also in the gift shop. And she always likes to get up early in the morning and chant, finish her rounds before going to college. That's a wonderful thing. And she's actually under the guidance of Padma Mataji, Urjeshwari Mataji, if I'm not wrong. And then Padma Mataji is a senior disciple of Tamal Krishna Maharaj. So I, from the bottom of my heart, I wish her that she will progress further in Krishna consciousness under your guidance, Maharaj. Thank you very much. All the best.
Quite a contrast in ages. She's 70 and you're 18. The future is in good hands. Just yesterday, I received a letter of recommendation for her initiation because it was pending. And I've never received such a glowing letter of recommendation. The temple president was effusive about his appreciation for her and her service and her qualities, just like these other two. So you have some well-wishers that stay in that shelter. Okay, initiation vows. How many rounds you'll chant on your beads? Minimum? Okay, and the rules that you'll follow?
No eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no restriction.
Okay, and you didn't get nervous. I did something about you. That's pretty good. Learned some lessons from this young lady. And as you've been doing since 8 years of age, you continue following Prabhupada's teachings very nicely. Initiated name, Dayalu Radha Dasi. Dayalu means merciful, and Radha is very merciful. So you're the servant of the merciful Radha. She's happy. Shall we go forward?
Nama Om Vishnupadaya Daya Romapada Swami Namine Swaha 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 Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Namah Swaha 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 Shri Chaitanya Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutade Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Swaha 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 Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitangscha Swaha 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 Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Swaha 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 Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutade Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayataya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayane Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jvana Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Dvanta Harine Swaha 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 Nama
Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralamba Rasam Bodhe Padambo Jayate Namaha Swaha 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 Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchit Anandanamine Gaura Shakti Sarupaya Rupa Nugavarayate Swaha 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 Gaura Vibhava Bhumestvam Nirdeshta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Swaha 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 Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Swaha 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 Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goratvishe Namaha Swaha 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 Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Surupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Swaha 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 Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Swaha 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 Jayatam Surato Pangor Mama Manda Mater Gati Matsarvasvapadam Bhojo Radha Madana Mohano Swaha 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 Divya Drindaranya Kalpadramadaha Srimad Ratnagara Singhasanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Krishtadibhi Sevyamano Smarami Swaha 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 Shriman Rasa Rasa Rambhi Bankivata Tata Stitaha Karshan Venuswanayar Gopir Gopinatha Shriyestanaha Swaha 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 Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Swaha 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 Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Okay, final mantra with your banana. Stand. Somehow, if you can, hold your banana like this. Someone come and take the plate from her so she can hold the banana. Here comes Chintamani. Okay. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Gently place the banana. Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Amalanam? Kirtan? Circumambulate the fire 3 times. Mataji, round the fire.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama.
Hare Krishna devotees, if you all can make your way to breakfast prasadam, we'll come back for the Ishtagoshti upstairs. So once you're meeting the initial